Good.
Good, 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 good.
So I finally get to speak with you after reading your amazing book.
Yeah, man.
Your amazing book. I have so many freaking questions, just not even about the story. It's more about the process of the story because
I'm in. I'm in.
it's always good to see a fantasy author, especially a black fantasy author,
Yeah.
write fantasy. So I always try to pick y'all brains when I talk to y'all. So
I'm
before
game.
get into that, introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, and anything you would like them to know before we really get started into this interview.
Yeah, no, first off, thank you for this opportunity. I have been watching your lives since I started the book process. And so for you to even have given me this opportunity to grace your platform is an absolute blessing. And so, bow down to the queen. You are doing the damn
No.
thing. And I'm grateful. No, for real, man. Like you have helped so many of us, get our names out there to let it be known that we're writing these amazing stories and writing these books and things. And so, we wouldn't be able to shine as bright as we do without people like you, pumping us up even more than we're doing ourselves. So again, I thank you for just giving me this opportunity. So for those who don't know, my name is Eddie Dee Williams. I am the author of The Affinity Theory, book one of the Affinity Saga. By day, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and so I do a lot of my specialty is in trauma-based care and relationships. And so I spend most of my day helping people try to solve their relationship issues and trying to deal with the traumas of their past so that it's no longer affecting their present or their future. Married, two kids, two dogs that belong to my kids. I just babysit them when they at school. I'm a Christian, a former pastor of a church, and we'll get into a really big part of how that's been a part of the process in a little bit. But telling stories has been my thing since I was 5 years old, watching Power Rangers and all that. And so just been grateful for this opportunity to be able to put this book together, be able to share it with everyone. And yeah, man, that's me in a nutshell. I'm very, very simple. Just like to watch TV, go to work, eat. Just pretty simple for me.
Now you just picked my brain. You just had it because I don't write my questions down. It's just off the fly, based on the
Yeah.
conversation and the vibe.
Okay. Oh,
And
that's the best kind. That's how I do my therapy. I said we just talking.
now that you mentioned therapy, it explains a lot of situations in the book that was like whether they were it's almost seemed like it was falling apart but coming back again.
Yeah.
Where the leaders sometimes had doubts about things.
Yeah. Yeah.
um just their doubts about the company, even the villain, what I'm saying, like, was he a villain, was his, type. It explains a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
talking to people. All right, so before I even get into the craziness that's going through my head about the story, could you explain to me, now writing fantasy is hard. It's hard
Facts.
because the world building, even in regular books, what I'm saying, urban fiction, contemporary romance, whatever, you're building a world or you're building the characters. But in fantasy, you are literally building a reality that is almost science fiction like. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how was it for you to build in that process of staying within fantasy, but having to build this world with superpowers and heroes and villains and a quest type deal? Still, how was that building that?
So it was challenging in that when I first started writing, and one of my alpha readers really got it. She dug into me with this. My stuff was really dialogue heavy in the beginning. Like,
Mm,
the battle sequences and things were all well and good, but a lot of my stuff was really dialogue heavy.
mm,
And so I was writing literally as if I was watching a TV show.
mm.
Not a lot of description, not a lot of, they did this, it looks like this, it sounds like this, that sort of thing. And so a lot of the stuff that I was doing was dialogue heavy, probably came out of the therapy world where all we do is talk, talk, talk,
Right,
talk,
right.
talk, talk. And so one of my first alpha readers, she didn't even get 20 pages in before she's sending me a note. I can't see your book. I'm like, wait, what does that mean? She's like, literally, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I hear people talking, but where are they? What are they looking at? What do they look like? And I'm like, oh shoot, okay. So that was really the first time that I had to really sit down and process, like, how do I build a world and what do I want my people to see? And so the good thing about the process that I have is that, I have everything plotted out before I've even written. And so it was easy for me to go back chapter to chapter because each chapter was kind of a story in itself. Mm-hmm. So within that, I would basically take a chapter that I've written and say, what do I want everybody to see? What I want them to feel? What I want them to hear? And so that's where the world building really started to come to life. And then with each iteration of the edits, another person would tell me, you need to add a little more detail here. And I'm like, dude, I'm already 150,000 words in. These people gonna think I'm like, this is my first time writing. No, if they gonna take this book, because it's already 150. They already talk about it need to be at 120. I don't know how I'm gonna get this cut down, but it just continued to make more sense. Right down to how does the nanites, when they come on their bodies, like, what does it sound like? What do? Do they sizzle? Do they pop? When the door opens? Because again, the doors have locks and locks sound like this, and they were like this. And so what does it sound like when a door opens? What does it sound like when a palm reader scans their hands? And so all those little things, they became places for me to play. And fortunately for me, I wasn't on a deadline nowhere. So I had all the time in the world to sit and figure out, how do you do this? What does this sound like? What happens here? What do their powers sound like? What do they look like? Is it green? Is it yellow? Is it orange? And in doing so, that's how the world built. It was just amazing to see how it all came together. But it all started with the dialogue and me, basically writing a script, not knowing I was writing a script, and then that alpha reader saying, I can't see it. So either help me see it or turn it into a screenplay. And I'm like, I don't want to turn it into a screenplay yet. Wink, wink. So let me figure out how to do this, and make this into a book. And so that's how it came to play.
So you also, these are Black characters. So anybody who has not read the book, know that these are Black superheroes, but they're Black superheroes with doubts, problems, emotions, love, and a whole bunch of plethora of things going on with them, which makes them the team that they are. Now, the leader, what's his name?
Malcolm.
He had, it's like one of those heavy that wears the crown type situations with him.
Yes.
So how do you write a superhero that is a Black man, working for the man to protect his team, but also protect himself? How do you keep him vulnerable but strong? How do you write that?
So for me, I wrote this book in the height of, George Floyd, Alton Sterling, all those things that were going down all at once. And, when 2020 hit, we were right there front and center watching it happen all on TV. And then all the things that happened before that, all the things that happened after. And at the same time, I was working in a prison, doing therapy in a prison. And I was running a unit, running the crisis stabilization unit in the prison. And so everything that Malcolm was going through, I've dealt with in some way, shape, or form. Where, I got to make sure that I'm marking all my P's and Q's, got to make sure that the prisoners that I'm responsible for, that they get what they need while simultaneously not getting played by them because they sure don't know how to play it, folk, try to get what they need. I got a whole team that, that I'm kind of responsible for, even though they're not mine, but everybody's looking to me as the de facto leader. And all at the same time, making sure that I don't crack under pressure, because the second that I do, I'm all of a sudden labeled as the angry Black man. And that had happened on so many different occasions where it's like, dude, I'm not angry. I'm getting angry because you're calling me angry, but I promise you I'm not angry. See, you're angry. See what I'm saying? And I'm like, bruh, stop. And so a lot of what you see in Malcolm, I drew from, experience of being in those situations where everybody's looking up to you, and that one mistake can cost you everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're trying to make sure that you're keeping yourself together while simultaneously trying to be open and honest and vulnerable about how you're feeling about things, but never knowing who you can trust.
Yeah.
I've trusted people, and I've talked to other people in similar conversations therapeutically, where they trusted the wrong person with their vulnerability. It was weaponized against them, and now they don't trust nobody no more. And so when you're in situations, right. And so when you're in those situations, like, I don't want to trust nobody with my vulnerability, because last time I tried, they took my kindness for weakness, used it against me in a court of law. And now, it's made it where every subsequent relationship or friendship I've ever had, I'm trusting them less and less and less. And so you see that happening with Malcolm, where he wants to be open, he wants to be vulnerable, he wants to, be more forthcoming when it comes to what he thinks and how he feels. But there's this hidden fear that if he's too vulnerable or if he shares too much, at some point that's going to come back to bite him. And so you see him warring with that all throughout the book and all throughout the saga, as we move into the further pieces of it.
It was even in like the little romance part of it.
Yeah.
It was really, it was like, it's okay. Even though this is fantasy, it was so realistic, because when people are hurt people hurt people. You know what I'm saying? So instead of confronting the feelings, instead of confronting it, he was more of standoffish. Or he was like, don't worry about it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I'm worried about y'all, not me. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Right. You even see that, like when he was having the conversation with Simone, when they were going to the analyst, and they were talking about how the company makes their own decisions about stuff, and she was getting frustrated about that. Like, that conversation was very simple. But again, here's Malcolm. I don't want to cause no waves. I don't want to cause no problems. So rather than finish their conversation, he shut it down. He used the analyst as a deflection. Like, oh, okay, well, since he's here, let me just deflect. That's why she was like, oh, so we just not gonna finish our conversation. And you notice they never did. The conversation.
That was the thing. That was Malcolm's thing. That was Malcolm's thing. That was his thing. That was his thing. Even as a leader, he wasn't even leading himself. He was just like, he was very closed off.
Yes.
You know, he was very closed off. And I ain't gonna hold you. It was like the dysfunction was functioning.
How many people do I come into contact with me who have learned how to thrive in their dysfunction?
That part. At first I wasn't gonna say nothing about it, because I was like, maybe I'm gonna go too far.
No, bring it on. This is it.
When I read books, I really be trying to break those books down, because it's like you find little eggs in little nuggets in what's going on. So with the females, there was a lot, just like it was a lot with the males, but there was a lot.
Yeah.
How do you keep the cattiness to a minimum, but at the same time understand that they gotta be together as sisters in the same fight, not against each other?
So honestly, I got a lot of that from, the interactions that I noticed when I was working in the prison, because in my profession, especially down here in the South, there aren't a lot of males in this role. There's not a lot of male therapists. They call me a unicorn because I'm black and a male. So everybody want to talk to me. And so I got a lot of watching the interactions and the banters of women from the people that I was at work with. I called it a blessing in disguise. They all welcomed me with open arms into their conversations. Usually they're like, oh, he a dude, you need to be quiet. No, they're like, no, come sit with us. For real? You gonna let me in? Oh, okay. And so as they're talking and bantering, and I'm sitting here taking notes. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. And they really were able to teach me how, they kept their, could be cattiness, could be issues, could be problems to a minimum. And in doing so, it helped me to understand how to keep those delicate threads in the balance. Like,
Yeah.
they were able to do the job, do it effectively. We go and see our people, we go and do the notes, we go, and have the meetings and things like that. And we're able to work together as a crew, even if there is some unseated jealousy, or some deep seated jealousy, or some hatred over something stupid or
There was some
anything like
jealousy in there. There was some jealousy.
right.
There was some
Mm-hmm.
jealousy in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Yes.
why?
Yeah.
Why? I was like, why? Why?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like this is what happens. It's there, but they're not. But again, because the team, and credit to Malcolm, he was able to teach them, and we don't get to really see it a whole lot here, but we'll see it a whole lot more maybe in like book 2.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to teach them how to be an effective team despite their individuality. He was able to teach them when it's go time, we gotta go. We gotta move.
But it was I forgot what part of it. It was like the powers issue. It was the powers issue. My power is better than yours. We really don't need this. This power ain't moving.
Right.
Type thing.
Right.
Instead of him being like, "Oh, we together in this." You know,
yes.
it was like, "Move out the way. I got this." Type
right.
So
exactly.
How do you write that and keep it still them becoming a team? Because at the end of the day, they needed each other.
Yeah. So listen, I watched a lot of cop shows, MCU, DC, the Avengers, Justice League, and you see that in all of those types of movies where there's always that one person who thinks they're better than everybody else. You have that one person who is kind of the de facto leader, even though he ain't been declared one. You have the person who is trying to be a badass and, wants everybody to know. You got the person who is always closed off. And so I just paid a lot of attention to how those shows were written, because every last one of them has a backstory that made them who they are. And that's where the humanity comes into play. We may not see a lot of the backstory and a lot of the side characters, but that's also because we got 9 books to get through,
right.
So we're not revealing it all at one time. But everybody has a backstory that led them to being who they are. And so even with the worst person in the book, or the greatest person in the book, they all have something that made them who they are. And by highlighting those threads, it makes it much more compelling to watch them as they're growing. I didn't want everybody to be at a place of maturity where they're functioning as a full unit with no issues, because that's not how it works. When you have a person who's coming in for the first time, you don't know if they're going to come in scared, going to come in a hothead, going to come in trying to prove themselves, all those sorts of things. And so you see, like with Duncan, he's coming in with, they put me on this team, so apparently that means that you losers needed me. You have Simone who comes on the team, and she's trying to prove to everybody that I'm the brightest light in the galaxy. And so, you have these dynamics that are coming into play where you have the person who's been there for 5 years. You have Malcolm who's been there the longest. You have Malaysia who's been his right hand, who's been Malcolm's right hand for such a long time. Carl who's, quiet, but reserved, but he can still, kick your ass. And all of them having come with their experiences and their issues and everything that comes with it. How do we make this work? How do we make this work for the sake of the team?
Tired of them. I felt like Carl was getting tired of all that shit going on.
Facts. He just observing. He's like, bro, come on, man.
Like, I think he's just like, why we just can't be a team and y'all just shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like, I was like, that is so. That's what I kept thinking when I was like, he's so sick of y'all.
Okay, y'all got one more time, man. Can we please just go to battle so I can come back and eat and take a nap? Y'all get them.
But you know what? And then it was. I know a lot of people are intimidated when books are longer. But if you made that book shorter, we would not got as much out of it because we would have been missing so many key elements in the book. Because as the chapters went along, it started to pull the plot together slowly but surely, pull it together. Because even though you said like your alpha reader had told you, where's everything, the descriptive writing pulled it together. Now, with that being said, your action scenes, I know you said X-Men meets Twilight. Scratch that. Twilight is X-Men meets like Justice League. That because your action scenes. Now, how did you go about writing those to be so theatrical? Because they were theatrical.
Yes. No, I'm not gonna hold you. I literally choreographed every battle scene. I would actually take time wherever I was when I was in the midst of trying to writing. I would literally say, okay, if my fists are like this and I swing my arm like this, what does that look like? Yeah. If I, take my arm and I, push a pulse out, what does that look like? And so I would and my wife will tell you this, that we used to do this, we still do this every now and then whenever I got a scene that I got to work out. Some of those scenes with Simone and Malcolm in particular, we choreographed those scenes. Like we're literally, okay, let me grab you real quick. Let me turn you around. Let me hold you. Okay, let me do it again. Let me do it again. Okay, so we then get into bed and it's like, okay, so now I need you to let me flip you, grab you. And so now it's like, okay, so Simone then wrapped legs around and then Malcolm would grab and then turn her and now he's straddling her and then she lifted him off the ground. Like we literally would stage those scenes out.
Your descriptive writing is amazing. Your descriptive writing is amazing. Because I've been trying to get into more fantasy, but I only want to fuck with black fantasy. Nothing against y'all white counterparts, but that's all we used to have. So now that it's out there, I want to stick to what I want to see myself in characters.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't get that often. And this is like a real superhero. This is really a superhero book. Yes. This is really a superhero book, and I love it.
Yeah.
So you said it's gonna be 9 books in the saga.
Yes.
Why is it gonna be 9 books? Why is it important for that length?
Yeah. So originally the book series was supposed to stop at 7. But the number 9 started to become really significant, and we'll be able to start teasing that out a little bit more the further into the saga we go. And so for me, 9 is a trilogy of trilogies. And each part of the story has 3 acts. We're in the first act right now that kind of introduces the characters, introduces the issues, introduces the problems, but it's also leading up to introducing the Thanos of the book. So there is a Thanos coming.
So it's not going to be, okay. The Collector.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying there is a Thanos coming. And when Thanos gets here, Thanos is going to have his own set of what's going on there. And then, once that happens, there's going to be an aftermath. So a trilogy of trilogies.
So, okay. So how does the company play? Because I just have a feeling it's all about the goddamn company.
It is. It really is.
All the doubts that they have are so legitimate.
Yep. And I can't say nothing till 5. I can't say nothing till 5. Till 5. Yeah. I gotta keep my mouth shut till 5 because there's something coming, and once it's revealed what that is, everything will then make sense. All the doubts and all the wonderings and all those things, everything will make sense, but we won't figure all that out until we get to 5.
So let me ask you this: with the enemy this go around, the Collector, how and the doubts they had about even the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be that it will be the same thing uh with throughout the saga, that they will start doubting the reasons why they're fighting these people because somehow they're pinpointing something with the company?
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay,
There's
okay.
something coming. Again, what we're still trying, what everyone's trying to figure out, why is the collector doing what the collector's doing?
That's that.
Mm-hmm.
That.
Mm-hmm. That's the big question that's happening, and that is the first act.
Okay,
Why is the
okay.
collector doing what the collector's doing? Once we get to the end of 3, you'll then know this is what the collector's been doing the whole time, and then that will open the stage for Act 2, which is books 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
How important as you as a black male, a black author, and a black fantasy writer, how important is it for you to market yourself in a way that you are true to your culture, true to yourself, and not overexert yourself mentally?
I mean, I think well, I'll put it like this. It's been really simple for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just love telling good stories.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a storyteller my whole life. Since,
Mm-hmm.
again, 5 years old, my brother and my brother, sister, cousins, and all of us would get in the backyard and we pretend to be what we saw on TV. We would watch Power Rangers, X-Men, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, Doug, when that whole renaissance of, cartoons just came out in an explosion. We are all playing those same things in the backyard and creating all these fantastical ideas of what this is and what that is, playing American Gladiators in the backyard, and so we're doing all the things. And then, I would watch my grandmother. She ran a daycare center, and so to get out of taking naps during lunchtime, we go and watch soap operas with her. So I'm watching Young and the Restless, Guiding Light, Bold and the Beautiful. I know about Brad. I know about Victor Newman. I know about everything that's going on with them, and I want them to get into fall in love and all that kind of stuff, and so that morphed into watching 90210, Melrose Place, all the UPN shows that we had back in the day, the Hughleys and all them. I devoured every last one of them. Girlfriends, don't tell nobody. Don't tell anybody. If you tell anybody, I'm probably telling on myself. It don't matter. But if you tell anybody, I'm gonna deny it. But Girlfriends was what it was back. It was pretty good for me. I loved it. Watching the relationships and all that drama that was going on. And so all that just morphed into storytelling. And so, plus being a pastor, being a preacher, we got to keep people captivated, so I got to learn how to tell a story while telling the story of Jesus and all that he's done for us. I got to keep people entertained at the same time because I don't want them going to sleep on me. And so all that just kind of became my thing. No matter where I was telling a story. With the events, that happened in 2016, the things that happened in 2020, 2021, and everything else in between, my blackness, became something of some. It's always been an interesting dynamic for me because I'm both black and blue. My parents were cops. My brother's a cop. I worked for the cops. And so it was always this dichotomy of I'm black and I see what's going on in the injustices, and I understand the blue side of things when they're the good guys. Now, when they bad, we need to root them out. We need to get rid of them. So I'm not out here trying to advocate that all cops are good. No, there are some really bad folk, and we need to find ways to root them out of the system. I don't care. There's no blue wall to me. We get them jokers out of there. But there was always that dichotomy for me. And so I was always, trying to, bridge the gap, so to speak, to be like, no, we can be both pro-black and pro-blue. It doesn't have to be an either or. But the more we saw what was happening in 2020, 2021, it was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I need to wrap mine. It was really
hard.
bad.
It was
hard. So hard. I live in deep South Georgia, and I live in a neighborhood where I'm surrounded by, a whole lot of them. And so it was scary times for me. I'm scared to ride my bicycle in the neighborhood because at some point I may make the wrong man mad. I'm riding through the neighborhood and all of a sudden I'm fearing for my life and safety, like a dude who's running through, through the house because it ain't finished yet, And so there was a lot of fear going on there. And so all those things kind of wove together to make the story what it became for me. But at the end of the day, I've always just been interested in telling a good story. So I tell people with my book, I'm unapologetically Black with the book that I've written, because that's all I know is being Black. And if you keep reading, there's a section in this book, and I put it in there very subtle and never talked about it again. But if you pay attention to it, I bring up the issue of race in book 1. It's in the chapter called Second Day, when Malcolm is watching TV and he's watching UNN, and Chancellor Croft says, for too long we've asked these powered people to fight our wars,
okay,
to entertain us, to pay taxes and fares, and yet let them represent themselves in these very halls.
When
they make up 70% of the population.
You know what? This goes to my next question, actually, because as you're talking, like, I have police in my family, but I have like FBI, CIA, Border Patrol, military, I say all that stuff because I was in the military, but all of them, I have all that, but I also have the hood ones, and that's where Black people are not a monolith.
We're not a monolith.
So our stories still represent that.
Yes, 100%. And that's why I put it in there subtly. Nobody's really paying attention to it right now. But when we get to book 2, that very statement becomes the basis for the whole book. So even though it's all Black, we're dealing with the same issues that our world is dealing with every day. That there's always going to be somebody who feels like they're better because of X, Y, and Z. And when they feel threatened, they're going to do something in order to secure their power.
Yeah, that's true.
And y'all gonna think I wrote this book in November. I wrote book 2 in 2022.
Okay. So when did you write book 1?
Let me back up. I finished writing book 1 in 2022. I finished writing book 2 in 2023.
So you own it.
We're working on book 4 right now.
Oh shit! No, book 2 is not out yet.
Not out yet. It'll be out as early as summer of next year, no later than fall of next year.
So let me ask you this: you have yourself and the climate of the book world, right, is a mixture of delusion and a mixture of facts and realism.
Facts.
You have delusion in the fact that people don't believe it's political. You have facts and realism this is a lived experience.
Facts.
So how do you see yourself in regards to being a fantasy author, being that the climate of people like Moms of Liberty that wants to ban every goddamn thing, not even the right Bible, just the white Bible, but they want to ban everything. They don't want to ban Dr. Seuss, and he was racist.
That part.
But how do you feel about the climate of everything that's going on? Because I know a lot of people was like, "Oh, it's Trump," but it's your local, not the federal. It's the local. So how do you feel about all that?
No, listen, everything is political, man, and that's why I can't wait for book 2 to come out, because all that we're about to say right now is everything that book 2 is like centered on. Everything is political because everything is an attempt to get you to believe a story, not the truth, a story. When you think about everything that you're watching on TV, when you think about everything that, when it comes to the news, when it comes to sports, Stephen A. Smith, as much as people don't like him, I admire his ability to get you to see the bigger picture. And he's always talking about the narrative. Watch the narrative. What are they trying to tell you? Because you can take the same set of facts and tell 15 different stories out of it. Same set of facts. 15 different stories. So absolutely everything is political. My book, for instance, I can tell a person all day long, my book has got all black characters, but on my planet, no one knows what race is. It's not a construct on my world. But a person's going to see my cover and automatically assume you're woke and not even know what woke means. They just heard something from Fox News and all them. And they take that as if we're trying to be woke. And it's like, nah, bro, first of all, you don't understand what that means. Secondly, if you pay attention if you actually crack the book open, you'd realize, even though it's about us, I'm actually telling bigger stories. But again, because you've already assumed what my book is about, because you see these characters on this page, you're now making a statement that I never said. But I also recognize I wouldn't expect anything less, because everything is a story. Everything is a narrative. I mean, we see it even now when we do, when watching TikTok and stuff, when people do their stitches and when they do their duets and things, they're telling a story. They'll take a 5-second clip and they'll tell a whole story, and they didn't even watch the whole thing. You have people, this one lady who, I can't remember what was going on at the time, but she made this statement, and like the whole news circuit just took that one little snippet and ran with it and didn't even listen to the rest of her speech. And so everybody that they were interviewing about it was like, well, did you listen to the speech? No, I didn't listen to the speech, but there was this one thing she said. But did you listen to the speech? Because if you'd have listened to the speech, you would have realized that she was quoting somebody. That wasn't even her statement she made, but because you wanted to get your soundbite. So now, everything is political. Everything is political. That's why I'm unapologetic, because you're going to believe what you want to believe regardless. I can't stop you from believing what you want to believe. I can only present the facts. I can only present the truth, but it's up to you to receive it and to be open to it. So if you've already made up your mind, that's why I told people I'm hurt but not surprised that Trump got in, because people had already made up their minds when, that situation happened on that stage when he almost got hurt fatally. The decision had already been made. I'm like, it's going to take a Herculean effort for him to lose. And sure enough, the only reason why he lost is because people made up their minds to stay home.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Can't change their minds unless they want to change their minds, man. And so for me, everything is political. Yeah. So that's why I tell people, write your story, because for every person who's going to have something negative to say, there's somebody out there who's going to take your story and going to love it, and they're going to devour it, and they're going to be like, it's the best thing that's ever happened. I'm so glad I got to read this. And so I tell people, write your stories, man. Write them, because listen, they out here trying to ban everything under the sun. It is what it is, but it ain't gonna stop us. It's only going to embolden us to write even more. That's all.
So I say this. I always ask a Black author, and I know it may seem like I'm coming off as a biased person, but I'm Black and I can't help that. So I always ask you guys, especially you, because you're the second author that I've had on that was a therapist that worked in mental health. So I'm going to ask you this. You give advice, talk to, help, lead people in a direction to better themselves. How do you do that for yourself?
Ooh, good question. So Initially, I admit this plain thing because without this the book wouldn't even been written. I at first thought I could do it by myself. Thought I could do it on my own. I'm the therapist. I got all the help, right? I got all the skills. I got all the techniques. I don't need nobody to help me. I know what to do. Bullshit. I needed help. Lord knows I needed help. And so, thankfully, right place, right time, ran into this sweet lady. I called her my auntie. For 8 months, I put myself in intensive therapy where she helped me to deal with the traumas of my past. Traumas with people pleasing, traumas with not being able to speak up for myself. A lot of the issues that you see Malcolm, Simone, and who is it, and Duncan in particular, that they have in the book. A lot of what you see in book one is a lot of me in those three characters, and then you'll see some subsequent issues show up in the later books. But a lot of those issues stem from a lot of stuff that I was dealing with. I had very difficult times opening up to people, people close to me. So it's easier for me to open up to strangers than it was to open up to people that were closest to me because I had abandonment issues. Ooh. And so, so I was always afraid if I tell them too much, they're gonna abandon me. If I tell them too much, they're gonna tell me that I need to stop talking or whatever the case is. And so I went to therapy for 8 months and realized that I needed to work on being able to trust people, the people in my life. And instead of trying to make new friends every 15 seconds, let me be the friend that let the people in my life be the friend that I'm looking for, because they're there. They're here. They're not going anywhere. And so in the midst of that, I came to this understanding that 98% of what I was doing at that time was because someone else had recommended it. It wasn't because I liked it. It was because somebody else liked it. And so the music I listened to, the TV shows I watched, the activities that I participated in, even the food that I ate, was all because somebody else recommended it. It wasn't because I particularly liked it. I was just trying to make them happy. So I got to know their likes. I got to know their interests, and I became entrenched in what they liked, only for them then to move on from me. And now I'm stuck with the bag, like, but I did all this stuff and I made all these sacrifices. Why are you abandoning me? When in reality, I had abandoned myself. So I got to relearn who I was. And in that, I learned Power Rangers, X-Men, the MCU. This is stuff that I liked. I used to sit and I played video games growing up. I used to love video games so much. I love the soundtracks. So I learned how to move the control pad to get to the sound part of the video game, and then cart my Sega Genesis with me everywhere, so I could listen to the soundtrack music. I'm telling you this, and so with that, that's how I became the writer that I am, because I tapped back into my childhood. So writing is how I take care of myself. Reading is how I take care of myself. Watching TV shows is how I take care of myself. Playing a video game every now and then is how I take care of myself. Spending time with my family and friends, that's how I'm taking care of myself. When I do have issues and problems, the first person I'm running to is my wife, to tell her, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is how I'm feeling. I hope you don't take it the wrong way, but this is what's on my mind, and I just need to get it out. So that way, I ain't trying to get it out to nobody else, that sort of thing. And so these are the things that I've been doing to take care of myself. And in that, my relationships have gotten better. My relationship with myself has gotten better. And it's made my writing in particular that much more enriched, because this is me. Like writing and telling stories. I've been doing this literally my whole life. It's the one thing that has always been mine, and I just happened to forget it for a while, trying to make other folk happy. But now that I've gotten it back, y'all are now able to see the results.
So let me ask you this. How do you keep, as a Black man, how do you keep the misogyny out of writing female characters? And how do you keep the stereotypes out of writing Black male characters?
So I watched SWAT in particular, and
Mm-hmm.
I love how oh gosh, what's his name? Sergeant Harrelson. What's his name? Shamar Moore. I
Mm-hmm.
love how Shamar Moore, his character is on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a humanity in him that you don't get to see a lot of in TV shows
Mm-hmm.
up until like maybe like the past 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the resurgence of like BET, giving us good programming and other types of places where we're getting a lot of great programming now. He was one of the few people that I'm actually like, dude, this is a type that we need. Um, and so I watched a lot of SWAT, and in watching SWAT, I watched him and watched how him and then the relationship he had with the girlfriend that he had turned wife, the relationship that they had, and notice how it wasn't stereotypical. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, I'm from the hood, and so we gonna be hood, and I'm a girl, so all the stereotypes that we're accustomed to seeing when it comes to seeing us on television, and in seeing how those played out.
Mm-hmm.
I then also watched how the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
how the DC, Justice League, Avengers, how they treated relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you don't see a lot of hood. You don't see a lot of, this, that, and third. You see them from, middle class or upper class or things like that. And so I'm like, well, shoot, I know people who look like me who live in those exact scenarios and situations. So let me write what I'm paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily from the hood. I'm, middle class. Both parents were working. Both parents were good and all that kind of stuff. And let me just write this in. And then again, on top of that, I'm listening to the women in my life.
Mm-hmm.
They're not stereotypical. They are all shades. They're all sizes. They're all different personalities and life experiences. So I'm taking notes. This is what this is. This is what this is. And so for me, it wasn't a difficult experience at all, because I've been paying attention to all these different things, and in watching what I've watched, living what I've lived, I'm simply writing what I know. And I don't know stereotypes.
Yeah.
I've known people who fit those molds,
Yeah.
but most of my circles have not had where all of us are one mold. We're all different people. And so even though I'm writing a Black experience, I'm able to keep it all out, keep all the misogyny out, and keep the stereotypes out, because I know these people, and I know them because they are literally copies of people that I know. And so it wasn't hard for me, because this is what I know, and this is what I know about people, and what I know about teams, and what I know about the experiences. And so it became a very effortless thing for me, especially because and I didn't want the stereotypes to distract from the story.
But you did have trauma bonding in there.
I had a lot of trauma bonding in there.
You had trauma.
Had a lot of trauma, and I'm glad you caught that. Because I put it in there. I put it in there on purpose.
You did.
I did.
You
Yes, I did, and I'm glad you caught that, ma'am. I did.
I tell you, when I read y'all books, I really be dissecting y'all.
Yeah, man. I put that in there.
Way. It's just that
it's that. No, I'm glad you said that, and that's why I tell people, if you know Hancock and you know Twilight.
Hancock. That's it. No,
come on.
Stop saying Twilight. Twilight does not.
No. Okay. We'll take that. Throw it out the window. X-Men meets Hancock meets the Avengers meets the Justice League. That's what it is.
Hancock explains the trauma bonding.
Bingo.
So fucking much.
Bingo. Thank you. Exactly.
But you know what? In the Black culture, I know people do it in other cultures, but specifically because our generational trauma.
Yes.
Trauma bonding has been so acceptable within friendships, within romance, within even raising your children.
Yes.
So just seeing it in your book, It's just like I was
Mm-hmm.
just catching these little eggs in your book. Like,
Mm-hmm.
damn.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, how important was it to write the trauma bonding?
So again, remember, this is me, living out experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so part of what my therapist helped me to understand about me was that because I didn't have the type of relationship I wanted with my mom, where I could be open and honest with her, I was trying to replace her with other people in my life. And because of that, that's why I was recycling friendships so much. Because once a person got close to me, I'm trying to burn it down. Because I'm scared now. I'm scared you're going to abandon me if I tell you too much. I'm scared you're going to abandon me if I get too close. And so I was trying to bond for years. I was trying to bond through my high school years, my college years, my marriage years. I'm trauma bonding. And so once my therapist was able to help me see what was going on, I was like, dude, I get it now. And again, years of therapy, my wife and I, we were going through the experience thereof. Now that I understand it, unpack it, we need to talk about it, that sort of thing. That just became the thread by which you see it in the book. Especially, particularly between Malcolm and Simone, but also with other people if you're paying attention, because it's happening in other areas too. And so with that, it became the modular that I was able to use in book one. And what we'll hope to see is that as that gets healed, what then becomes of the relationships.
I see. I key. Okay.
Because now that the trauma bond is healed, what does this mean? Were we really together? Or were we bonded by trauma? So that's what I had to figure out with a lot of people in my life. Like, were we really friends? Or was it just because we had shared experience or the trauma bond? Because now that that's healed, what do we really have? And so there was a lot of stuff that needed to be worked out, and that's what we get to see happen here. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and if it ever gets figured out, what is this going to mean for the future? That's why I can't wait till y'all to get to book 4, 5, and 6, because I'm like, oh my God, once we get there.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a couple of more questions, but how is it?
No, come on.
How is it you writing in this? Because I see your excitement in writing the stories. So how is it, to maintain a level of secrecy so you don't give away too much?
Right.
Yet, be so excited to get to the next books.
Man, listen, I'll take it back to the very beginning. Like, this journal that I have in my hand, like, this is where it all started, man. All the different, notes about what's going to happen, how we're going to get there. This is where it all started. And for me, I think it's the fact that everybody else is excited about it too that keeps me buttoned up. I don't want to spoil it for them. I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to spoil it for Olivia Linden, who just came in. Who I think you talked to her last week, if I'm not mistaken. Like, she read book 1 and she's like, I can't wait for book 2. I feel like I'm waiting on the outside. My friends are all playing and I'm waiting for the book. And so it's moments like that when people are like, when is book 2 coming out? That's keeping me like, okay, I ain't saying it. Because if I spoil it for you, then you're not going to enjoy it the way that I'm enjoying it. Because I can't wait for y'all to get into book 2. You think book 1 is fire. Book 2 is going to take everything that you know about book 1 and just amplify it times 10. Like, it's taking everything and just taking it all the way to a whole nother level. Like, you guys have no idea what we're about to get into.
I feel like it's about to stress me out. I feel like, because I was already stressed out with book 1, but I feel
it's gonna be so good.
You about to get that cigar when I come on camera and say, hold on for a minute, and light up the cigar like, God damn it.
Yo. Y'all gonna be so excited because again, you already asked the question, why is the collector doing what the collector is doing? And that's
Because
why I'm like, I can't wait.
game. I'm peeping game.
I can't wait for you to see what she's doing. I can't wait.
I'm peeping game because even the collector, I was doubting everything that was fucking going on. I was like, wait a minute.
Yep.
This is not sounding right.
This ain't sounding right. You absolutely right. Like, it ain't supposed to sound right.
So I'm sitting here and I was just like, I would go back and I would read and I'd be like, now wait a goddamn minute. But yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It ain't supposed to. Not yet.
Me too, Shannon. Like, I'm just saying, the reason why it's so important to someone like me, I don't read a lot of fantasy. I mean, I've read fantasy from white authors because that's all you would see in Barnes and Noble.
All you would see. That's right.
Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, Second and Charles. That's all you would see.
Yep.
And when Borders was a thing, that's all you would see.
I remember them.
Right. So it's, to me, to be in a space, and have a fantasy author and be able to talk to you about it, and your excitement is just as excited as I was going through it, reading. Wow. Because you had caught my attention when I saw those sudden fucking. I was like, are those?
I'm just saying. Like, if this don't get you excited to want to read something, I'm just saying. Like, I don't know. Like, and let me even hold you. That was not the original cover for the book. So I had gone to Fiverr, got me a book cover person. They made a beautiful cover. But as I'm trying to figure out what is my book, like what did I write? I don't even know what I wrote. I think it's a superhero. I think it's fantasy. I think it's romance. What did I actually write? As I'm going through the process, the closer I get to superhero romance thriller, the less and less my original cover looks like what it should be. And so for me, I had to go and make my cover because I knew I couldn't get someone with my lack of coinage at the time to give me 7 distinct characters. Because it's 7 of them. It's not 1, it's not 2, it's 7. Yeah. So 7 distinct characters, 7 unique personalities, 7 unique costumes, not to mention the big bad. That's 8. That's 8 characters. So I knew I'm not going to be able to give someone what they're deserving of to give me what I want. So I had to go and do this myself. And that's how we got to where we got to. And I'm so glad I did. Because this is what this book really is. It's what the book is meant to represent. That we are 7 superheroes that are tasked to take down this big bad up here. And hopefully we do it. I don't know if we will, but I know we might.
I mean, I have questions because even though Thanos was a bad guy, he had a reason for what he did.
So I'm just saying.
I have questions about the whole collector situation because you know how people say this is a bad person, but don't know the story.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the collector.
That's exactly how you're supposed to feel about it.
And now the company, on the other hand, excuse my language. Excuse my language. But they some fuck ass motherfuckers. They the ops. I know they supposed to be the good guys, but they the ops.
Let's go.
They the ops.
They some shady motherfuckers.
They are shady as hell.
Yes, they are. And when you find out why, you gonna be like, dang.
But see, that's crazy because that was just in book 1.
That's what I'm saying. That was
just in book 1.
That's just book 1, dog.
That was just in book fucking 1. Yeah. So my business partner and my ace, she said, when you coming outside to a book event?
You date, time, location, home, and just let me know where they at.
Because the Boozy Book Tour, we having a fantasy paranormal.
I saw.
Raleigh, Georgia, Raleigh, not that far off.
I'm just saying.
So I'm just saying, you go on that website and click and say, I'm coming.
Say less. Say less. I will make it happen. Because, yeah, I want to meet all y'all. I want to meet all y'all. What you mean? Say OG.
I just want people to see you, because even though I know this app's supposed to go away on the 19th or whatever, Lord knows that probably don't even fucking happen. But
okay.
But then again, I had drones outside my window, so there's a different thing. But I do want you to go outside, because I want people to experience you, and I want people to experience this book, because it's a really good book. It's real, and I'm gonna be 100% with you. I was so intimidated by the pages at first. I was like, because I had the book on my ebook. You had sent me the art. I had the art, and I was just like, God damn.
Yeah, I mean, that doggone Kindle had it looking like it was 1,000 pages deep. I was scared. I was like, man, ain't nobody finna read this.
Because I was like, because I do my weekly reads, and I was like, wait a goddamn minute.
I know. Listen, and here's the thing. I tried. I went to the editor. I said, I need you to cut this down by 30,000 words. This is what I need you to do. Cut this down by 30,000 words. You know how many words the editor cut it down by? 300.
Wow.
And you know why? Because they said I couldn't stop turning the pages. I had to remember what my job was. My job was to edit. I couldn't do my job. I was like,
it had to be this length. It had to be this length. It had to be this length.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't have made sense.
Right.
It wouldn't have made sense.
No, listen. So when I gave it to the editor, we were at 107. We were at 160 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I let a beta reader read it, and the beta said, "You're a therapist. Where's your therapy stuff at?" I'm like, I gotta add more. I don't know. So I added another 20,000 words to this book. That's how we got to where we're at. Like, it's like.
But you also gave those characters life.
Yes, so much
you
life.
Gave them personality.
So much life. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people will write a whole bunch of characters, you get a whole bunch of POVs, and it don't make sense. It doesn't flow right.
Right.
You used what you are and put it in these characters, and they gave them each a different, distinct personality. Even though some had more
light to shine.
Yeah. But it didn't stop the other ones.
Right. And what I did was, and I tell this to anybody who's writing, go get a personality test. It doesn't matter what kind you use. What I used was where is it? So this is called the Enneagram and You. It's one book of several examples. But I used the Enneagram personality type system to flesh out my characters. I took the test as if I were the characters. So everybody has a different type. That's where they get the dynamic characterizations from. We just did my wife and I just did a podcast that'll come out probably sometime in January, where we actually go through and talk about which character is which on here. I use this to flesh out their characters so that whenever I'm writing them in or doing something for them, I'm always keeping in mind, remember, this person's a type 3. Remember, this person's a type 7. Remember, this person's a type 9. So would a type 9 do this? Would a type 6 do this? Would a type 4 do this? Because if a type 4
research.
Listen, on this TikTok thing, that's what they were telling me to do. I'm like, say less.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it.
A lot of authors don't do their research, they do a guesstimate.
Right. And nope. Let's make, if we're gonna make these characters who they are, and in saying that, this has 9 types. 9. That's where I get my number from. Damn.
Okay. I don't even want to take that because I got enough diagnosis under my belt. So, you got it. I got enough that my therapist done claimed that I have. So
Listen, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm good.
100%. 100%.
So let me ask you, if you could, because you already got the book out, you're marketing the book, you are pushing this book for someone who wants to come into fantasy and they are Black. What would you tell them, male or female? What would you tell them as encouragement and some real shit?
Tell your story. For too long, and my wife gonna tell, because we got to run and joke about the using words for too long. Stop it! I hear you back there. For too long. For too long. We have been told that the only stories that we can tell are the ones that will sell. And so we've stifled ourselves by listening to the naysayers. When Black Panther came out and proved everybody wrong, that should have been, and I feel like it is, the flashpoint for all of us to be like, F what anybody got to say, I'm going to tell my story. So I encourage anyone, write your story. Number 2, please just write your draft. Like, just write your draft. We spend too much time worried about, I don't know if it's going to sell. I don't know if it's going to do this. I want to make it perfect. Da, da, da. Write your draft. Because you are not done when your draft is done. I finished book 1. I started book 1 in October of 2021. I finished book 1 in June or July of 2022. Y'all see when it came out. I was nowhere near done with that book in 2022. I thought I was done because I'm an independent author out here in these streets trying to query the folk. But the second my alpha reader got it, it was like, The second alpha reader, The editor, no. The beta readers, no. I went through this book 4 times afterwards to do edits. You are not done once you finish your draft. So when you write your draft, that's when you get to have fun, at least to me. Because now you get to add all the fun stuff. The Easter eggs, the extra banter, the descriptions. That's the fun stuff. The hardest part is writing that draft. But it can actually be the easiest part, in so much that if you're not worried about being perfect, you can get it done, and now you get to play. Now it's a whole playground to play with. So I tell people, write your story, write your draft. Because once your draft is finished, you at least have a book. It's not complete, but it's done. And now that you've finished it, you can now go and do all the editing you want to do to make it perfect and pretty and get your people to read it, critique it, get back in there and polish it till it becomes what the Affinity Theory became. But it took getting from October 2021 to October 2024 to be able to say, here, y'all can read it now. So just write your draft. Write your draft. It's going to be ugly. It's supposed to. It's not supposed to be perfect. You just want to get all your thoughts out of you as fast as you can. So that way you're not spending all your time up here with the anxiety of, is this going to, what's it going to do? How's it going to be? Your audience is going to find you. Y'all found me, man. Like, I put it out there.
But you market the hell out your book.
I ain't got a choice. I ain't got a choice, man. Listen. They don't know. You ain't gonna know. They ain't gonna know unless I tell you. You're not gonna know unless I tell you. There you go. And so, I was so shocked once. And credit to Double A Lewis, my auntie. Like, she found me and she talked to me and was like, "Listen, what are you waiting on? What do you mean? Your book is done. Why are you not selling this now? Like, you should have been in these streets." I'm like, I didn't know, nobody told me it was dead. I thought, and so, credit to her, for encouraging me to go out and start pushing this thing as hard as I did. But you're right. You're absolutely right. People won't know unless you tell them. So tell them, because all it takes, and credit to you, credit to Brit her books, and Sean Keese, all it takes is one person to read your book and love it. And if they got a platform with 500 folk on it, they going to tell them 500, and out them 500, 3 people are gonna read it, and then those three with they 500 go, and it's just gonna continue to spread. So again, don't worry about whether it's gonna sell. If you love your book, the people will know it, and when they know it, they will give it a chance, whether they love it or hate it. I don't care. I just want you to buy it.
I also, as I'm gonna say, I don't know how old you are, but I'm gonna say, like a little sister to you, I am going to give you some advice.
Yes, please.
Don't overwhelm yourself. Find you a PA. There are too many Black entrepreneurs that are on the app. Before this app or whatever happens, find you a PA to help
Okay.
you, because you're on here all the time. But you need to find you a PA that can do your newsletter, that can help you to market outside of these apps.
Yes.
Handle
Okay.
your
Okay.
Facebook group when you start things like that, to tell
Okay.
people about events that you're going to be at, to help with said events, so you don't be running like a chicken with your head cut off.
Facts.
You need to reach out to different podcasters. You know what I'm saying? You have Booked and Busy. She does podcasting. She has the Pop Your Shit podcast.
Yeah. We've actually been in contact with each other. Supposed to be doing something with her real soon. Absolutely.
You need to do her podcast.
Okay.
You need to get in contact with book clubs. You need to get in contact with Black-owned indie bookstores in your city, and whatever city you plan on going to do a book signing.
Okay.
And you need to take a break sometimes.
Which I did. Was it? I think what? No. Wait. Hold on. Was it? But you're right. I do. I'm gonna put that down too.
And if you are interested and really want your book to be a web series to start off before it's an indie film or a film, you will get in contact with Rowdy Gunshy Film Productions, who is asking Black indie authors, Black and POC indie authors, to contact them about their books to be turned into web series, and it'll be professionally filmed.
You are the third person to tell me that. That is a sign. Okay.
It's a sign. So that's just my feel.
And I've written every note.
Oh, and also you will get in touch with Lady Creole, because she has a list of authors that she can pair up with influencers in case you want to send your book out, get them PR, help them work with you on a marketing tool or whatever. She gives you the influencer, and you get the right person to work with you that don't want to fuck you up.
That part, and that's something I told who was it? I told Casey. I told Casey that I said that's been the hard. That's actually one of a good piece of advice we need to give people too. Don't say yes to everything.
No.
Do not say yes to everything, because there are people out here that are freaking, they're the scabs, man, and they will suck you dry if you let them. Fortunately, I haven't fallen for the hype, but it's made me very distrusting of the legitimate ones. And so be very watchful and careful. Just do your homework, do your research, make sure these people that are reaching out are legit. The ones you reach out to, make sure you do your research with them too, to make sure that they're legit, because there are some legitimate people out here who are ready and willing to help you. But with all these doggone scabs out here, it makes it very difficult for the ones who are doing the real work to shine, in so much that you may think they one of them too. So definitely do your research, because there's some real good people out here that are ready to help.
There are readers who don't charge, because the one thing we do understand as indie authors, y'all are doing it yourselves. And there are some that do charge. I don't charge because I don't feel like, and this is my own opinion, unless you're traditionally part of the big three, but my opinion is that to do a review, I can't charge you because I don't know if I'm going to like that book.
Right.
So what exactly am I charging you for? Because if I give you a review and I don't like the book, I'm fake. That's just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if I like
Mm-hmm.
the book, I wouldn't want you to pay me any goddamn way. I like the book.
Right. Right.
Now, if it's a
Mm-hmm.
traditionally publishing company, and I ain't talking about small press, I'm talking about
I
those
know.
big
The
ones.
biggins.
You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to pay me, even if I don't like the book. My
Right.
time was wasted reading that damn book.
Right. Exactly.
So that is the only time I see myself charging someone. As far as
Mm-hmm.
charging someone that's an indie author, I can't do it. No matter who
Mm-hmm.
tells me you should, I can't do it. I won't.
Right.
I
Right.
just can't.
And we thank you for
I just can't.
it.
I can't do it. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people do it, but I just cannot do it. It's
Mm-mm.
because y'all work so hard. The gift is the story to me.
That part, that whole part, especially when it's good, especially when it's good.
Do I appreciate y'all when y'all send me books? Yes, of course. But it's the story. And plus I'm
Right.
an ebook reader. So half of the shit I got, yes, every book I have up there I done read, but it's on my ebook.
Right. Right. Right.
Those are
Exactly.
those
Exactly.
are just signed copies.
Right.
This is everything else is on my ebook.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't feel like I should charge y'all, but I'm not everybody else, and I'm not trying to stop anybody from getting their coin.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
just,
knock your hustle. Go do what you got to do, man. Let's do what you got to do.
I just feel like y'all
Right.
shouldn't be getting charged for that shit.
Right. Exactly. Because we scraping these coins just to buy more books to sell. At this point.
Right. So, with that note, I need to know how we can get your books. Starting with
Yes,
the website before you start with Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I have if you go to all of the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even TikTok, Eddie D writes, Eddie DeeWrites. I have a link tree, and from the link tree, that's where my books are. And so link tr.ee/Eddie Dee Writes. My books will show up at the very top. It'll send you to Shopify. But again, you don't have to go to the Shopify store. It'll send you there through the link tree. And so that's where all of the books are. The hardback, paperback, and the ebook. They're all there. And so again, and if you buy directly from me, I will sign your book, and you will receive a bookmark for the powerback and the paperback editions. I got this nice bookmark that my wife developed actually.
That is nice.
Yeah, that's the our way of saying thank you for joining the Affinity Theory and the Affinity Saga family. And the star and the ribbon have significance. If you've read the book, you know what the significance of both of those are. But if not, if you read the book, you'll figure out what they are. And so once we get off the call, Storm, I have a book with your name on it. I just need an address to let me know where to send it. As my way of saying thank you for bringing me onto your site. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, without question, you're getting one. And so that's my way of saying thank you for letting me on. And so then beyond there, we're on TikTok. Got the TikTok shop. You can get it wherever you buy your books, through Ingham Spark. We're in all the different bookstores. If you want to order online on your favorite bookstore, it's on the Zon as well. So again, just wherever you get your books, that's where we're at. But if you want one signed by me, either through my site, through the link tree.
Oh my God. My business partner, she owns a bookstore online, and she says, I'm going to put your books on the site.
Yes.
Get the word out. We'll start tonight.
Thank you, Shannon.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. I'm just saying, each one reach one, each one help one. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Appreciate you. Thank you. I ain't gonna cry. Y'all ain't gonna make me cry on this doggone podcast tonight. All right? But thank you. I appreciate you so much. I'm gonna cry when I get off. But thank you. Thank you, damn it. Y'all so nice. Thank you.
That's because we're a community. It's the village.
Clearly. This all my book is about, man. That's all it's about. We family.
It's
We
it's
family.
it's, it's the village. I know a
That's
lot of
it.
times we get a bad rap because they be like they look at the bad apples and think we all that way.
That's what exactly. And it's like, nah, bro. We're not a monolith. We're not a monolith. We actually do have each other's backs. But you know what it is? You know what it is? Negativity sells.
That part. That's why we had
Oh,
that whole incident with the Queen of Booktalk.
exactly. I'm like, bruh, if you only knew, but y'all don't want to know. Y'all just want to get what to get you to 15 seconds. But if you actually spent some time with us and found out who we really are, but whatever. We got our 15 seconds and now yeah, dummies.
I just want to say I appreciate you. I love your hard work. Your book is in my, and I'm saying this from me, so don't nobody go and say I said it for everybody. I'm saying it for me. His book is one of the in my top 5 for fantasy books this year.
Yes, go.
I'm glad I stopped looking at the pages and just read the book itself, because I'm telling you, it's worth the read. It's
It is.
really worth the read. And I appreciate that you took the time to write this book and put all the dynamic within the book. You know, I said it's just not about superheroes. It's more to it. It's underlying
Yes.
things that we just got through discussing and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's really an amazing book. I love the cover. I love the book itself. I love how it stands for so much more than just being a superhero.
Yes.
Um, I just appreciate you. And I want to
Appreciate
thank
you,
your wife
man.
as well.
Yeah. No, listen. Harshest critic. She loves my book because she loves it. If she don't like something, she will stop read. She will DNF a book in a heartbeat.
I feel that. I feel that.
So the fact that she finished it and finished it again, and then finished it again, and can't stop talking about it, she is my harshest. She's my harshest critic and my strongest support. And so, absolutely, I my kudos to her. Nicole is one of the best people you will ever meet on this planet, and I'm grateful that I can call her my wife because she is such a cheerleader. And again, she will always tell you the truth. And though I couldn't appreciate it in my younger years, I hella appreciate it now because she's only made me better. And
Yeah.
so this book would not be where it is today without her. Her fingerprints are all over this.
Speaking of Rowdy, she just came in here. Rowdy,
Hey, Rowdy.
I was telling him to get in contact with you and going, because her link is in her bio. If you're not friends with her, become friends with her.
Okay.
And go into her bio and send the interest form to her and Sharonda's film company.
Okay. I have my homework assignment.
You do.
Yes, ma'am.
You do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
I
you so
just
much.
want the best for you. It's always a amazing thing to see a black male doing positive things. And I hope that your books get into even schools.
Same.
So
Same.
that, these teenagers and young adults can read it as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
do you
man,
have
I'm
anything
excited.
you'd like to say before we get out of here?
Nah, man, just listen. Again, I tell y'all, run, don't walk. If you haven't gotten a copy yet, it's one of the best superhero books you're going to read in a very long time. Again, if you order directly from me, you will get a signed copy of the book as well as a bookmark as my way of saying thank you. But again, I just can't thank y'all enough. You guys have shown me so much support in ways I couldn't even imagine even a month and a half ago. When this book first came out, I knew I was entering into what felt like uncharted territory. Because again, like you said at the top, you don't see a lot of us in books like this. It's always, our Caucasian, people, and stories be bomb, but it's just not us. It's not a representation of us. And so for us to finally have a book that represents us, in such a big way, it just speaks volumes. And I'm grateful that you guys have embraced the story as much as I love telling it. And so again, I just love y'all so much. Grateful for all the support, grateful for all the love, grateful for the purchases, the reviews, the whole 9 yards. And trust me when I say, if you love book 1 as much as you do, you are going to devour book 2, because it's a much faster told story, and it's going to take you for a roller coaster ride you are not ready for.
I'm ready.
So
I'm
buckle
ready.
up.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to be stressed out. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to be stressed out.
Yes.
Like I said, I am proud of you. I need you to continue to do what you do, but I also need you to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Take a break when needed.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hope you go into either myself or Shannon's link tree and come to the Boozy Book Tour in Raleigh.
Say less. I will make it happen. I will make it happen. I'm excited about it already.
It's an experience.
Listen, I've the lives that I've lived, I'm pretty sure I'm down for the ride. I'm down for the ride. Again, I'm just happy to be in the room where it happens. I'm just happy to be in the room. Just happy to be in the room. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. Yay. I'm here. I've arrived.
But I just want to say thank you for coming on, and hopefully next year sometime when you come out with the next book, we'll be back here talking about it.
Damn right we will. Shoot, you're probably gonna grab me as soon as you finish the book. Like, listen,
I probably am.
Listen,
I'll probably be in your DMs. I probably
looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
I probably will. I'm good for that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, you have an amazing evening and enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, you too. Thank you so much for having me. And again, guys, thank y'all so much for the love. And you know where to find me. I'm everywhere, so just hit me up. I'm always available and accessible.
All right.